Hey, you want to manage the notifications you send on your WIX website? Well, in this video, we're going to show you the WIX settings for managing those notifications that you send out to everybody through your WIX website. So with that being said, we're just going to hop right into it. Let's go. Boom, so if you go to settings, notifications you send here, you can just click it. And boom, you can see all of the settings for the notifications you send, right? Now, I'm gonna give a caveat to this lesson, is that a lot of the notifications you send can interchangeably be worked with automation. So it can be interchanged with automation, and as you see, there are automated channels here that you can start to set up. So for instance, thank a visitor who submits a form. So when somebody goes to your site and submits a form, automation is triggered where it does it automatically. That's what automation is, but it does it automatically where it sends a thank you email to the actual person who filled out the form. So you didn't have to go in and manually send a thank you email. It automated that email. So setting up those types of notifications is what we're doing right here, and you want to set that up, those automations up as well. Automations are in the later lesson, but again, we're touching on that, why it's important even now, like notifications that you send, in the spirit of notifications that you send. This is the type of notifications that you would send. So when a site member request is approved, right, they'll receive an email. Right? They'll receive an email. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and let's view this summary. Or edit. Let's edit. So essentially this is how it breaks down, right? When a trigger happens, the trigger being whatever action that was taken, that's considered a trigger. When that trigger happens, being when the site member is approved, then an email will be sent. And this email will be this right here. And you can edit the email if you want to. You can edit the email. Let's just preview the email. But you can edit the email if you want to. But you see, your member request has been approved. You can go ahead and go in and edit this with your own way of saying it, the same exact thing, and pretty much make it your own. It's your email, right? It's how you want to communicate back when somebody's a new site member. Like you can be like, "Hey, welcome to the best community in the world. We're happy to have you. We know you might be overwhelmed with all the content or all the videos and all the information that you have. So if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to us so you can, again, you can email it or create the email however you want. Again, that ties back to kind of like the previous lesson. You might have a team member that's an intake person. Like they are the intake team where they know how to speak in a certain way that makes people feel welcome. Like, hey, welcome to our site. That might not be you, but you might have somebody on your team like, hey, anybody who comes in who's a new member, I want you to make them feel welcomed. I want you to make them feel, feel welcome. And make sure they don't have any questions. They're not overwhelmed or anything like that. We have to go back to settings because it threw us into automation. So we're going to go to the notifications you sent to you. And that's why I kind of preface this with automation, because a lot of this is automation. It seems like it'll just throw us into the automation tab over here. So we're going to go back to settings. But you know now, at least you know now, that if you go to your settings, you can start to see what fundamental settings that are there, so you can essentially end up at automation anyway. So analytics, as you see, it's broken. Let me go back. As you see, it's broken down into different categories. So you have the site members, you have the analytics, you have the analytics reports, and you have payments, right? And more email notifications, right? You can set up more email notifications, and you could do, you can add more here, like add all of these automations here, right? Analytics, site traffic overview. This might more than likely will send you an email to you. Let's click on it. It might send an email to your team, more than likely send an email to your team. Let's say your SEO manager, like these are our analytics, or your marketing manager, like these are our analytics for this month, and they can assess how your site is doing based on the strategy that they put, right? So you can pretty much set this up, right? And you can also set this up where, again, set email type. You might see here. Let me go back. So trigger is, this is what happens. We have site subscribe to traffic overview, right? Which is going to do probably monthly. Or you could schedule it, right? So it's going to send an email. This is what's going to happen. After the action, it's going to send an email, and you can create that email, what that email looks like, and you can set the email type. So it can be promotional, business transactional, or business critical. We're going to go ahead and edit, maybe later. That's just preview, I mean. If you want to edit, you go in and edit. It's going to ask you like profile information, but essentially you'll receive something like this. It is as an email. Where it'll show you sessions over time, session traffic source, unique visitors, site sessions, average session time, sessions by device, new and returning visitors, session by location. Again, even with session by location, since I said it last, you might realize that, hey, I'm getting a lot of people from New York or Brooklyn. Maybe when I create content, when I create more content, even for social media or whatever, I might strategically keep that in mind as far as who my audience is. If they're more likely New York or Brooklyn, okay, well, my content might be about how cold it is. You know, I'm just making something up off the top of my head, but it might be about how cold it is, or, you know, things that are culturally happening or in their area that they can that attracts them at the end of the day. Because again, somebody from New York in comparison to somebody from California, they have two totally different lifestyles. They have two totally different living styles. They have two totally different cultures that as a content creator, you have to strategically tap into. Like, hey, if you know your audience, you can start to speak to your audience that in the way that, you know, that resonates with them. So very, very important, right? And this goes back to your marketing team. Like we said before, like you're going to end up eventually going to set up your team, and this email will go out to your marketing manager. This email will go out to your marketing manager. And I'm gonna go back real quick to that analytics, because there's one more thing I wanted to show you, is that on this business critical one, this is essentially like, you don't want to send emails, these type of emails to your, let's say, sometimes you don't want to send them to your intern or your video editor or something like that. You want to send them to the people that it makes sense to go to, the marketing directors, things like that. If this has, you know, very important business information, it doesn't need to go to everybody. So this is where you kind of will select that, like, this isn't business critical, whatever the case may be, right? And you can just pick what makes sense to you, right? Pick what makes sense to your business. Boom. All right, let's see if we got any more. Payments. Reports are pretty similar. All of these are pretty similar. Like, it's gonna send out an email, and again, you're gonna select payments. You probably don't want to go to your content creator or your blog post writer, right? You might want this just go straight to your accountant or your CFO, whatever the case may be. I think you get it, like how to set this up. Currently, you might be wearing all the hats, but again, once your team grows, it's ideal to have each person having their own back-end access to get this information. And you can set all of this automation up so they're like, hey, as soon as they wake up in the morning, they have the email with the information they need. This, how many sales we got, blah, blah, blah. And it just runs like that, right? So this is notifications you send, or notifications your website sends out to your team, essentially. So very, very important. Boom, so there it is. Those are notifications that you send to your team, or essentially to your team. So those are the notifications that you send. You want to go ahead and start to set that up now, even though it might just be going to you, but go ahead and start to set that up now, so you know that these notifications, you're going to get these every month. Let's even say like the analytics, you're going to get these every month. You're going to be able to break down who your audience is, things like that. It's going to be super, super helpful for you to continue to grow your business. And then at the same time, let's say you hire a marketing agency or SEO manager or something like that. Well, you can put them on the list to receive this update of the analytics. Like, hey, I'm paying you X amount of dollars every month to bring me results or bring me more traffic. And here are the results of the payment I'm making. So again, we're getting into business like, okay, I'm investing this much to get a result on, as far as a measurement result. These are the measurements that you want to consider when you are growing your business. It's a lot more than just likes. It's a lot more than likes and clicks and things like that. Or it is clicks, but it's a lot more like social media likes and things like that. So again, we're tapping into something that's a little bit more advanced, but again, this is the foundation that you want to go ahead and start to set up for your business, and I highly urge you continue down this path. So with that being said, hopefully you found value in this lesson. Hopefully I didn't confuse you too much, but hopefully you see the value in setting up setting up the notifications that you send to yourself or to your team. But go ahead and get those notifications sent out so they can be automatically generated. So as you grow, as your website grows, it's already in place, where essentially you just change who it's going to, and you can continue to roll your business. Again, settings, the foundation is super, super important to put yourself in a position to scale, to grow. So with that being said, hopefully you like this video. I will see you all in the next lesson. Later, y'all. Peace.